All right, so look, I know I said I was the biggest guy in the room, but things have changed. My next guest, dude, I don't even just, I'm
the bodybuilding vegan, and this is my Inkounter. Some awesome work done here today. Talk about what it's like to be a man, be kind to animals, be kind to the planet, and get some cool ink.
All right, let the big guy in. Excuse me, bro. Dude, they're like the size of my head.
That's what she said.
I'm so excited for this episode, guys. God, here we go already. I think we're good to get rolling and start the tattoo. I'm going to line this in a very tight round shader instead of a liner. And the reason being is just because of that, you know, bodybuilding tough skin you have there. I want this shit to stick, you know what I mean?
I want it to stick too.
Yeah.
I've never been explained what tool is being used on me.
Yeah.
A round shader. I mean, it sounds pretty self-explanatory for what it is. But
Now you get to say later, you're like, man, he used a round shader on my lettering. That shit is sick.
act like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, so my boy, and he decided to not use a liner. I was like, yeah, good call.
Well, we don't know if Paul does good work or not, except, I'm just kidding. He did this rose for me first. That was the first piece he did. I guess I can kind of jump into the backstory if that's
Dude,
what you
so
think would be.
we're getting started here. We're gonna back this thing all the way up
All right, let's
to
back it
John
up.
Thomas as a little John Thomas. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Before the bodybuilding vegan.
We're gonna back it up, man. So really, I would love to dive deep into pre-veganism, which goes really far back for you, right?
Yeah, I was vegan at 13, vegetarian at 10.
13. All right, so let's back it up a little bit. So how were you raised essentially? Was it you weren't raised vegan?
Oh no,
obviously?
I wasn't raised vegan.
Right,
All
right,
I was
okay.
about to jump into like childhood, but yeah, no, I was not raised vegan, not whatsoever.
Okay.
I was 10 years old, and my best friend would always come over with her mom, like after school. She would babysit, and
You ready, brother?
yeah, she'd bring us McDonald's. That was like always our thing. And so, you know, 10-year-old me is sitting down to eat a hamburger, and my best friend is like, well, you know, you're killing a cow if you eat a hamburger. And I remember being like annoyed with her, like, you know, everybody else does it, why can't I? Like, you know, your parents do it, my parents do it. It's really not a big deal. It's the circle of life. Like all these reasons to justify why it was okay for me to keep eating that hamburger. And I think part of me was annoyed because part of me knew like she wasn't wrong. And it stuck with me. And I didn't go vegetarian overnight or anything, but like over the course of the next few months, I started removing animals from my diet. And Thanksgiving came around and there was a turkey on the table, and that was my favorite meat, was turkey. And I looked and I was like, not today. So
Wow.
at that Thanksgiving was when I became vegetarian. I thought, okay, I've done it all. I'm vegetarian. Like, she worked her magic on me, and now I'm vegetarian, and that's all there is. And then I realized that thanks to PETA reading a magazine 3 years later, saying the magazine title was something like "Why Vegetarian Isn't Enough," and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to come in and destroy this argument. I'm going to show these people what they know." I realized that animals are still killed for milk. They're still killed for eggs. Like, if it's a part of the industry, animals are suffering and animals are dying because of it. And so, at that moment, I told my mom.
You were having these thoughts at 13.
Sort of. I mean, you know, my friend brought that thought into my brain at 10. PETA brought veganism into my brain at 13. But like, I think we're just so detached in our culture from where our food comes from, because I remember at 4 years old, my dad asked me if I wanted fish. And he meant like out of the river and let them drown on the dock and cook them on a fire while we're camping. And it was like 4 when I realized, oh, I'm actually gonna have to kill this fish to eat it.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize that fish on your plate is the same as the cute little animal that swims, the same one that I have in my fish tank at home.
Isn't it crazy how we think that one fish is like, oh, that's the fish that swims in the sea.
Yeah.
This is the fish that we eat.
Yeah.
We don't understand it's the same exact fucking
It's
thing.
the same thing.
Yeah.
And so at 4, like I threw a fit, and so my dad ended up not killing the fish that we were going to kill that day. I'm sure I probably had a ham sandwich or something after, but like watching it happen affected me. And so I think we all are born that direction. And then through culture, through society, through parents, through whatever, we're taught, no, you have to eat meat, you have to kill animals.
Yeah.
And if you're taught that you have to, then you just man up and do it. But that was something that was, to me, something I had been lied to about, and I really wanted to just be able to sleep at night. Like even at 13, like I didn't feel good contributing to suffering. So that was where it started for me.
Do you feel now that in this day and age that we're sort of raising our children a little bit differently than how like you and I were brought up? Like as a whole? Or do you think like...
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think things have changed. I think change takes a lot of time. Like, this is really left field, but like I rewatched Ghostbusters recently, and I think it was Bill Murray's character was basically like a rapist. Like, Sigourney Weaver's like, get out of my house, leave me alone, no, I've said no 5 times, and he's like, well, I'm standing in the doorway so I can do whatever I want. And like, they didn't paint him as a bad guy in the film, and so this is in the 80s, and I'm like, so yeah, of course, like women growing up watching this are gonna think this is normal behavior. And
I watched an old movie the other day with Trin. It was Jack. Have you ever seen it? Robin Williams.
yes, it's been a long time, but yes.
So he basically has this disorder where his body is growing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, but he's still a child, right?
But
Yeah.
Bill Cosby was in the movie, and he was with all the kids, and it's like some of these things that pop up like that. It's like, totally get what you're saying there. But anyway, as you were.
So, like, I mean, I look at things like the Me Too movement, like that wasn't around when I was a kid. And it's like, we're empowering people to step up and speak out about things that are wrong that have happened to them. So I think, yeah, kids now are, I mean, at least, I see how you raise your kids, your kid.
And that's the hope. You know what I mean? Like I try to tell myself that there are some people out there, but what I am finding is that a lot of vegans are not wanting to procreate. They're not wanting to bring kids into this world.
I mean, I've had a vasectomy since 25.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about this whole time because this one's done already.
you have to go real slow on this side.
She's in there, bro.
That's cool, man.
Let's let it out.
Yeah, for real. That's why I got it done. I've had some anxiety this last year. I've had, not lately, but I had a few panic attacks last year. And it was all just while I was working. Like I'd work 8 hours straight and then like see that I had like another 100 unread messages and just start to not breathe and freak out. And it's like...
Let's discuss that right there because some of these people listening might be like, wait a second. That super buff, jacked, and juicy dude had a panic attack?
Yeah.
What does that say about you? Oh, that you're actually human though, right?
Yeah.
He is a machine, but also a human.
A machine, but a human, and we're all human. And like, yeah, I was the last person to think like, oh, I have anxiety or I have, any of these things. Because I'm like, I think like most people, I'm high functioning. Like I function around these issues. I don't always give them the time that they deserve to be able to, like you've been saying, you've been doing breath work all week. And I'm like so proud of you for that. And I'm like, I probably should be doing mine more frequently, more than just like a deep breath when I look at my hand. But for me, that's a start. And like, I never feel worse after taking a deep breath. So that's why I wanted to get this. I got it in Allie's handwriting because she's often the person that will catch me and be like, you need to take a breath. Like you need to slow down. You need to just take a moment, like close your eyes and ground yourself and then go back in and work another 8 hours. Like taking 5 minutes to slow down so that you can be more productive and not have a panic attack is going to make you more effective for those next 8 hours. So it's
literally all it takes.
That's a big reason I got this one. And then it kind of plays into a few things. I've been wanting to get Breathe. And then we put it right next to the rose that you got for me from my dad. And because that was like his thing was stop and smell the roses. he would always tell me that. He's like, you're always working, you never take any time for yourself. Stop and smell the roses.
This was perfect to go next to it then.
So, yeah, it's like you have to breathe to stop and smell the roses.
Beautiful.
Right? So it kind of ties in. And now, that was so fast, bro. This one didn't hurt.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was curious on these little bottom spots, like that skin under there is super sensitive, but that's why I used a round shader on you, because this skin is so tough on you.
Yeah, that's where my straps are.
Exactly.
Yeah. I hit my rack pull PR yesterday.
Here we go. Let's go.
My coach 2 years ago, he's like, you'll be ready to turn pro after you can do 585 for 10. And at the time I was doing like 495 for 10. So 2 years later, yesterday, I was like, better hit it today because you're the biggest you've ever been, and you're
585
for 10.
Whoa.
And you're getting your hand tattooed, so you won't be able to use straps for a week or two. So I was like, it's either yesterday or it's not happening. And it happened. So
bro.
Very, very
Congrats,
happy with that.
man. That's huge.
That's
a lot of weight, bro.
It was a lot of weight. It was, I was surrounded by my people though. Like I had Allie there with me, and I told her, I was like, I want you to send me a little love, because like I might go to a dark place. Like send me a little love.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about my coach. I had Lonely by MGK playing, so I was thinking about my dad. And then I think I can say this. I did an experience the other night with my friends in the room.
Sure.
And during this, we'll call it not a hallucination, but a psychedelic experience. You gotta be careful with YouTube.
Sure.
But I was feeling and watching the energy from my friends come to me. And like I could see them all so clearly. And then I opened my eyes and realized, I was like imagining all that with my eyes closed. Like I opened my eyes and I'm like, the room is arranged a little bit differently, but they're all right where I imagined them to be. So I like invited them to that set with me. Like they weren't really there, but they were there in my head. So I put a lot of pressure, but also like love and support. So like the things I do aren't me. It's the people I surround myself with, including you. Like
That's awesome, man.
I get a lot of help from a big community.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
A little emotional. Like I gave Allie a big hug right after, because I didn't know if it was going to happen. And I don't know if I'll ever do it again either, because this is the biggest I've ever been, and I might not be doing rack pulls.
That's so rewarding, like accomplishing something that you might not, thinking going into it, you might be thinking like, fuck, is this possible? Like,
2 years ago, I thought it was impossible. I was like, he set me like a goal that I'll never do.
Yeah.
And then to finally do it, it's like...
That's huge, man.
Thanks, man.
Let's get started on this other one. We can totally shift this whole setup. If I raise this up, let's say if your hand was like sitting up high like this, would that work for you?
I could do that.
Okay.
So then I knew I wanted to get breathe. Like I knew I wanted that. I had actually had Allie write it on me prior to this. And I was like, okay, well, what am I going to get on the other hand? Because I want something to be symmetrical.
Yeah.
And I had been thinking for a long time that I want to get something like the original quote in my head is like bigger than you. But then I realized like I'm a big guy, and if I have it written on my arm that bigger than you,
you're not that big. Like I'm pretty large in comparison. All right,
well, next to you, I only have 100 pounds on you right now.
Yeah.
But I thought if I wrote bigger than you, people are gonna be like, oh, this asshole thinks he's bigger than everybody. What the meaning was like, my mission is bigger than me. Like what I want to achieve in my lifetime is bigger than me. It's more important than me. It needs to happen even if I die now or if I die in 100 years. Like it's more important than any one person. Like I want to make an impact in the world and
totally understand that.
Be more kind to animals, more kind to people, make a difference. And so I tried to think of a shorter way to say bigger than you. And so we ran with for them. And then also for them has 7 letters and breathe has 7 letters. So it's now like ultra, for me, symmetrical. And then I was like, whose handwriting am I going to do this in? Because I've had Allie's handwriting. This is just stock handwriting, but I got my best friend's handwriting, Brooke's handwriting, my mom's handwriting, my dad's handwriting before he passed. So I was like, who needs to tell me this message? And then I was like, So I was thinking that the message should come from me. So it's my handwriting.
Fuck yeah.
And then if it is for them, it's next to my vegan tattoo, which is the whole reason I'm vegan is for them.
Flawless.
Like that? So
let's jump back. Yeah, that just seems like right there. It's like the way it's like bouncing off the bones, like not a comfortable feeling for you?
Honestly, after doing the inside webbing of my finger and doing my head, everything else has been not so bad so far. I was actually thinking of doing like a stick and poke for this, but then I was like, that might take like 4 hours, so I'll just I'll let Paul knock it out.
I probably wouldn't have felt too pretty either.
No, I figured it wouldn't. I was thinking of getting something like, getting a tattoo that said temporary, like pain is temporary.
Yeah.
But just temporary. And then somebody asks like, oh, what is that for? I'll be like, it's a temporary tattoo. Probably shouldn't try and make you laugh right now.
So talk a little bit about what you do in the vegan community.
Yeah, so
Because I've already let the camera know that you've helped thousands of people, including me.
Oh. Well, I do coaching. I do one-on-one coaching. That's a big part that I do for the community. And I will work with pre-vegans. That's one thing that pisses off some vegans. But what I've found is like, if I take somebody that's a full-blown bodybuilder and they'll work with me and they'll use vegan protein shakes and like half their meals can be vegan, that's still a step in the right direction. Whereas
Sure.
if I turn them down, they'll probably just go find another coach that's going to give them whatever meal plan. So
Sure.
that's one small form of activism. I feel like my other form of activism is like, taking someone like yourself and assisting you on your journey, and you're a very prominent member of the vegan community. So if you can be more confident or look better or be healthier, that just levels up everything else that you're doing. So I feel like that's another small form of activism.
Yeah.
And then, like this last weekend, I was in Miami. We ran the Vegan Foodie Fest. So we got 25 vendors, and probably well over 1,000 people came out. A lot of good feedback at the event. Mostly just vegan food, but
Is this something that you organized?
yeah. I spent the last 6 months organizing it, promoting it, getting everybody together. And most of the vendors sold out, so it was a really successful event from that perspective.
Wow.
And I was told like, oh, we've never had, it was in Doral, and I'm not super familiar with Miami, but Doral's like in the Miami area. And they're like, well, we don't have this here. We don't ever have vegan events here. It's like really nice to come out and have this community. So I think that's my other really big area that I want to impact, is like helping build communities and bringing people together, and also making it profitable for the vendors, because if the vendors can make money selling vegan products, then they'll keep doing it. And that's, I really think, how we're going to change the world, is not necessarily convincing everybody to go vegan from the ethics. Like, I hope that people will, but if we can make it affordable, convenient, available, a lot of people are just like, they'll eat whatever's open, like they'll eat whatever's in front of them, they'll eat whatever's closest. So the more vegan options we can have, I think the more we'll be able to move in that direction.
I think you set the example for what vegans can be, and you're living proof that you're not going to deteriorate. You're going to be stronger than ever. You're going to be mentally more sound and in touch with being kind.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, honestly. But
Thank you.
I mean, I appreciate everything that you do, brother.
Well, I have a lot of support, so I can't take credit all myself, but I will say this last year and a half, I've really leaned into being more of like what I see myself as, more of my inner child, more of willing to take risks and be a little bit more vocal, put it out there. Like, one thing that I really challenge people now on, like, if somebody asks me why I'm vegan, I'll tell them why I am, but I'll turn it around and I'll ask them like some possibly difficult questions. I'll say like, so you're not vegan? And they say no. I say, well, how many animals have you killed yourself with your own hands? Mm-hmm. Most people haven't. Some people have done some hunting or fishing, but most people haven't. And then I'll ask them, can you just imagine for me how it would feel to slit the throat of an animal that doesn't want to die? Can you just imagine what that process would feel like? Usually they answer something like, not good. I say, then from a human rights perspective, can you imagine forcing someone to kill 100 to 1,000 animals a day? And how how difficult that must be for them. And by purchasing this food, you're basically keeping that job open, forcing somebody to do it. And I feel like from that aspect, some people aren't ready for the animal rights. Yeah. But most people are there for the human rights. So it's just one way to, like, I know that conversation makes people uncomfortable, but it makes them think. Just the same as when I was 10 and I wasn't vegetarian, my friend telling me, oh, you're killing a cow, it made me uncomfortable. Yeah. But it made me think. Yeah. Then it made me realize, wow, even at 10 years old, I have a choice. I think that's the other biggest part, is empowering people to change, empowering people to speak up, encouraging current vegans to start becoming vocal, because I've been vegan 19 years, but I've been vocal for like 2.
Being vocal was a little bit difficult for you, yeah? Was there like sort of a uncomfortability there, or?
I think I'm an introvert. I never wanted to go to parties in high school. I got bullied a lot as a kid based on how I looked. So I wanted to look normal, and like, if I pass somebody on the street, I'll look down, I'll look at the sidewalk so that they don't talk to me, because if they don't talk to me, then they can't make fun of me. Yeah. So like, even now, I'll hear people laugh and I'll be like, oh, are they laughing at me? Yeah. Whereas like, it's such a limiting mindset. Like, maybe they're having a great day, maybe they're friends, maybe they're catching up, maybe a bird did something funny and they're laughing at that. Like, so why do they have to be laughing at you?
So how did you shift that?
I think a big part of it is like, it's okay to be afraid, but you gotta do it anyways. Sure. Whatever that is. Like, I know you're a big skydiver. You know, I was up in the plane, and it's like, you just got to make a decision. Or you can sit in the plane, or you can jump out and experience this and see what happens. Yeah. Public speaking is like that. I think going vegan is like that. Speaking about it is like that. It's like, I am afraid to speak up a lot of times, but I'm like more afraid. What if people like me don't speak? Yeah. What's the world going to be? You're very vocal. Yeah. And I've always admired that about you. Like, you're not afraid to speak your mind. You're not afraid for this to be a part of your business. Yeah. Like, your business doesn't have to be a separate entity from you. It's a part of you. And I think that's why people go to you, is because it's you. It's not just some random corporation. I personally feel that at the end of the day, it's not about us at all. It's about the message, right? And so no matter what, no matter how, you know, there's activists that are super aggressive, and there's activists that are very calm. At the end of the day, it's the message. I feel like just creating awareness can totally change so many lives. I'm glad that you got over, you know, being sort of like, you know, timid and stuff speaking, but man, I mean, I've seen you speak at a couple recent events. It's just super cool that you're trying to create that awareness. It's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, man. If somebody had to create it for me, if my friend at 10 hadn't done that, if PETA hadn't wrote in that magazine, like, I think I would have came to those things, but how many more hundreds or thousands of animals would have had to die for that to happen, and people be put in situations they don't need to be in? Like, I'm just grateful somebody spoke to me. So that's what I try and think, is like, not how can I guilt this person or judge this person, but how can I meet them where they're at and be like, oh, I wasn't vegan too, or I used to do that too. I understand like loving how that tastes, but also about the deeper message. Exactly. And for me, like with my daughter, you know, having a kid and being able to educate her on what normally the world wouldn't educate a child on. That's sort of why I asked earlier. I am hopeful that the vegans that do decide to have kids will have more vegans along the way, essentially saving more animals. But it's been super amazing, like teaching my daughter, you know, and just educating her, and she wants to learn. Yeah. Like, I mean, at the age of like 4, maybe 5, she was watching slaughterhouse videos. Wow. And she wanted to see it. Wow. And yeah, she hasn't eaten meat essentially her whole life, and she's 13 now. So it's like we can, you know, slowly have an impact and change. But yeah, I mean, that's your legacy now. Yeah, she's gonna be here when you're gone. You know, yeah. Leaving that change behind, and you've done a great job of giving her the tools to do that. Yeah, you've done. Over the top father right here. Well, not over the top. You're doing what every father should be doing. I appreciate it, man. And so many. That's my number one care right now, to be honest, is just being a good dad. Yeah. Just being the best dad. Yeah. That's it. It's setting her up, but it's also setting up all the other future generations. Yeah. She teaches her friends as well. Like, she'll educate her friends real quick if they're like, you know, stepping on ants or, you know, doing something disrespectful. Like, she's like, why are you doing that? Like,
think about it. You know what I mean?
Those are the things that would be so hard for me to do at that age, because like I would feel for the ants, but I'd be like, oh, I don't want to make this person uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But like at the end of the day, like I think to make change is never comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I even asked Allie the other day, like if she starts this coaching program, I'm like, what are you comfortable charging?
Yeah.
And she said X. I said, okay, great. You're going to open with 2X.
Yeah.
I want you to charge double what you're comfortable with, because that's the only way you're going to grow and realize what you're capable of, is if you do things that make you uncomfortable.
I think that's a huge part in our communities specifically. People are scared of that change. They're scared of that initial, well, I was raised drinking this milk or eating this meat or whatever. They aren't aware of how to change. Yeah. And so what you're doing by creating that awareness, you know, I'm sure you've helped tons of meat eaters stop eating meat at the end of the day, not just vegans looking to get fucking jacked or whatever. So, but yeah, people are so scared of that initial change because like how we were raised and how.
And then like for us in the bodybuilding community, it's rammed down your throat that you have to eat animal protein. So a lot of guys that I run into, like I get it, like their career is based on how they look. Like they're scared to change what they eat because that's what got them to where they are now. And I think it's to me now it's less about converting people to veganism, because like that's great. That's, I mean, the ultimate goal, I think. But that's such a big ask of any one person that I don't slow down enough to like hone in on that. I want to change consciousness as a whole. If everybody can, in my lifetime, realize vegan food tastes good, vegan food is nutritious, you can still build muscle on vegan food, you can still keep your culture. If we can just raise that awareness, then the next generation will be the one that actually implements it. I think that's a big part of it, is like not everybody's gonna go vegan, but if they can start to be like, oh, vegans aren't weird, oh, my best friend's vegan, or oh, vegan this, vegan that, like if they can start to have that positive connotation with it, then I think the change can happen long term.
Agreed.
So
totally agreed.
That's what I got on my head. People ask me wherever I go, like, are you really vegan? I'm like, yeah, I am. Like I realize every time somebody asks me that and thinks that I'm joking or trolling, like that's how much work we have to do. Yeah. People still think you can't build muscle as vegan. So that's why I got to show up. The food trucks, they got to show up to show that vegan food is good and that there's culture behind it. All the nutritionists and stuff like that, they got to show up to prove that you can be fit and healthy as a vegan. Like we just need to get rid of all those myths, and then I think people will try it more. Having the next generation like yourself, or not you, but pushing on with your daughter, pushing into the next generation. Our other friends, Alex Walsh and Rachel, they're about to have a kid. Their kid's gonna be raised vegan. Like, it's changing. It's slowly changing. We're out there. We're
out there.
And if we all wore it, if all the vegans wore it, and this is not political, I just want to talk about like how strong your base is. Look at like the MAGA people. Every single person that voted for Trump like wears it. It's out there. Yeah. It seems like it's out there so much because they're so vocal. Imagine if every vegan wore a vegan shirt. And I'm not saying be vocal in a negative way, but just like, hey, I'm vegan, I'm happy. And I'm vegan, I'm fit. I'm vegan, I'm 260 pounds. Like if everybody did that had that mindset, we'd change things faster. Yeah. So that's another thing I do, is try to push out vegan apparel. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a good bit of it.
I know. Thank you for all your support, and thank you for wearing it. Like that's, at the end of the day, I don't care if I can sell 100,000 shirts and make $0. It's 100,000 vegan shirts out there making a name.
So. I got a question for you. Yeah. What is your least favorite question to be asked by someone who is not vegan?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I get a lot of like annoying questions, like where do you get your protein? I don't know if it was a question, but I got hit with somebody the other day that was in my DMs. He's like, I feel sad for the cows being killed, but I'm gonna keep doing it because it's part of my culture. So I dived in a little bit further with him. He's this young kid from Brazil, and I was like, so have you killed them? He's like, yeah, I've killed like 3 cows. I don't feel bad when I do it because I know we need food. And that was a hard conversation for me because he didn't have any remorse. Like even if there were other options, or like they weren't starving, like they had money for food, they just chose to eat that. And he had no remorse for actually killing the cow himself. That wasn't necessarily a question, but it was like, I don't know how else to reason with this person. If he, like, I was like, but don't you think the cow wants to live? And he's like, probably, but you know, we wanted to eat steak. And I was like, well, you did tell me in your first message you felt sad. He's like, but I still want to do it. And that, I'm like, I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't have how to have an effective conversation with, other than like, oh, you're a jerk, you like killing animals. Like,
Right.
that's not going to change anything. So I was stuck there. Those are the ones that are maybe my least favorite. Like for most people, where you get your protein is easy, or you know, but our ancestors did it. Why can't you? That's easy. But those hard ones are where I can't feel like I can connect with somebody.
Right.
Because I try to always find a way to empathize or connect with them or see where they're at. But that stumped me.
Yeah, man.
They go together. Like,
yeah.
I need to breathe. This is definitely for me, and like my mission is for them, for the animals. But for me to do anything for them, I need to breathe. So it's like breathe for them. Like it does go together.
Yeah, man.
So like it's like a short sentence.
Perfect. I love it.
I love it too. Now I got Allie's handwriting, my handwriting, your work. So
yeah, I mean, technically that's my handwriting too. You know.
Technically it is. You did
needle,
go over it.
my
Yeah.
needle writing, you know.
So I mean, I already had the rose, but now I got more of you until I die. So.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, and it will actually live on forever in photos and videos. So.
Dude, we breezed through this so quick. Is there anything that you want to sort of talk about? And I mean, I know you create a lot of awareness in other ways and such, but is there anything that you want to maybe leave people with that maybe are looking to transition, or maybe have, you know, some questions? Is there anything that you personally want to leave? Just make sure that it's out there.
I'll just say, going vegan was the single best decision of my life. It's allowed me to find the partner that I found, the career I found, the friends and family that I've built, people like you. If you're wondering whether or not you should, if nothing else, the community that I've found has made this so worth. I've never felt this sense of purpose or passion in my life before. And like, I would love to walk away from being the bodybuilding vegan. I'd love if everybody in the world just went vegan and I could like put my feet up on a beach for a week and like not work and not try to feel like if I don't work, animals are gonna die. Like, that would be awesome. I don't think that'll happen in my lifetime. I wanna urge anybody that's listening to do the homework, dig a little bit deeper. Like, what have you been lied to about your whole life? Whether that's religion or politics or what your parents told you or what you read in a book when you were a kid. Like, you know, we all love the founding fathers, but the founding fathers all had slaves. Like, do a little bit of like reading and thinking for yourself, and then kind of determine how you want to set up your life. I wish I had done that at a younger age. I just believed I'll never be good enough to run my own business. I'll never want to like speak about veganism because that's too much. I don't know. I do a lot of things now that I never thought I would do. So if you stay open-minded, the possibilities are there. I do want to say, I've actually had this conversation with a close friend recently. I'm gonna have it with you right now. It's become, because I hold myself to such a high standard, it's been harder for me to find role models that are men. I think a lot of men don't openly express as much empathy or kindness or like that safe space. But I feel that with you. And I know we're not best friends where we hang out every single day, but we're also entrepreneurs that are busting our asses traveling and changing the world. So
I love that.
I love that we have moments like this where we can come back together, but I do watch what you do and you inspire me.
Man,
because
thank you for saying that.
You're a good person that's also a strong man. And it's harder and harder, I think, for me to find people that I can relate to or look up to like that. But you are one of those people for me.
I appreciate you, brother. I love you, man.
I love you too, bro.
Yeah, man.
I thought we might get a little emotional on this
good,
one,
man.
but yeah, I mean, you've given me a huge message from my father. I'll keep that with me forever. But you've also been just a really cool person in my life. So
Thank you, man.
Sincerely appreciate
this.
this.
Yeah, you as well.
Very excited for I was very excited and now very happy with my encounter.
Yeah, man. I second everything you said about this community. It really does just have the best people and the best energy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think a lot of people don't like vegans because they're preachy or they bring up things that make you uncomfortable or they're different. But like at the end of the day, they just want to be kind. And I think like at the festival I was at with the 25 vegan vendors and like 1,000 people, most of the people that were vegan, like just felt so calm. It felt like
it's a whole different
everybody's
energy.
here is just to be calm and spread compassion.
Yeah.
And be friendly to one another. Like, you know, I'm a competitive person, but around those people, I don't feel competitive. I feel like I'm just part of a team, community. So
And those events are really awesome.
yeah,
Meet really cool people there.
you got to come to my next one. We're already planning one for June. I think I can say it out loud. So I'll let you know if you're back.
We probably won't be.
You'll be
but
all right. Out changing the world in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That was the quickest tattoo that I think I've done since.
Yeah, he normally does these big, like 5-hour pieces. I'm not complaining, but this was not painful.
This was
perfect.
Nice for me. This was a nice little break.
Yeah. Let's. I don't know if you do this on air or not, but what do you tell people for aftercare on something like this?
So if you don't have any adhesive allergies, I'm gonna put some second skin on them. Try and keep it on as long as you can. Okay. It's that breathable barrier stuff. It just protects them.
Perfect. Yeah, I've used it before. I've had a couple tattoos.
Yeah, a little bit. Sweet, man.
Anything else? I'm an open book. If anybody has any questions, you guys can DM me. The Bodybuilding Vegan on Instagram. I get back to everything after a few days usually.
Yeah.
But like, if you have a question about going vegan or about how to handle a situation, or I don't know, you just need to talk to somebody. I've talked to some people through some shit on there. It's like, I try to be a safe space.
Yeah. So. And that you are.
I'll leave with a quote.
Yeah.
We don't inherit the world from our parents. We borrow it from our children. So that's why all this matters.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I heard that once. I couldn't shake it. And like, I wasn't even gonna have kids, but I was like, that's so good.
In that case, I'm on the right path then.
I would say so.
Letting my daughter lead the way.
Yeah.
She's a badass, so.
All right.
Sick.
Cool. I think I'm gonna look at this a lot.
Yeah, I would say.